Okay, Al.
Okay, I'm doing
Yeah.
that right now. Yes, we are recording.
'Cause I saw the same message. You CC'd
Yeah,
me.
yeah. Uh, see.
Sorry, Barbara.
Okay. So where is Kim? Or do we know?
I think he'll be back on the 20th, so I would have to assume that he's on the tail end, probably crossing the Pacific somewhere, some pit stop there. I know he was in Southeast Asia there for a while. I think last couple of meetings, and if
Possible.
he's going to complete the loop, he's going to have to cross the Pacific. So, again, if he's going to be back on I believe it's the 20th, isn't it, Bob?
Yeah, he's
That
supposed to
was
be
his,
home
yeah.
Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he'll be here, and I'm sure he'll have lots to tell us about and lots of photos. And
Well, he quit adding photos to this album he was doing at almost 1,000 photos, and that was when he was
at the
in
beginning,
Portugal
yeah, yeah, yeah,
2 months ago.
yeah. That wasn't even halfway around. Yeah.
Barbara, you got your hand up. Yes?
So my question is, since we were talking about updates and stuff, since the Tahoe is a relatively new update, I'd be really interested if people have found anything in Tahoe that is like, wow, I'm really glad they did this, or God, why did they do this?
The only thing I suspect is from Tahoe, and maybe it's older, is that I'll tap my laptop mouse pad to wake up my computer from sleeping, and then it'll fall asleep again in the next instant, and I have to tap it a second time, and then it stays awake. And I wondered if that's some kind of battery protective mechanism from random bumps.
I have no idea. Anyone have an idea whether that would
Random
be the
bumps.
fact or not?
So your computer won't go on and stay on unless you give it the affirmation that, yes, here's a second tap for you.
So I'm not quite understanding the circumstance. Repeat it one more time, please.
When my computer is asleep or about to go to sleep, it's on screensaver mode,
Oh, okay.
and I want to get back to the screen, I can tap the mouse pad,
Mm-hmm.
get the screen, and then a moment later, it will go back to screensaver mode until I tap a second time, and then it stays alert with me.
You share your cursor isn't in its hot corner.
Hmm.
I've never set a hot corner.
Yeah, but I think as I recall, on the laptops, there is one corner that is set by default, and I don't remember which one. I don't use a laptop.
Yeah. Nor I.
Well, it's probably not that because it comes up fairly often.
That's one thing I was throwing out. There's other things that could happen.
Right, right. Well, anyway, that doesn't really respond to Barbara's question.
Yeah.
Nobody found anything like, wow, I'm just so glad that they did this update because now I can do A, B, or C. Guess not.
Well, it's always going to be. I'm sure their biggest thing was just the visual look. Maybe there's some overriding. I don't know. Like Pete was saying, they got a paint job, and you can either take it or leave it. It's nice eye candy, but sometimes it gets in the way of productivity and legibility, and that's an interface design kind of thing that to me, the overriding rule of interface design for me is it legible? Do the graphic elements give me visual cues that help me and don't obscure what I'm trying to do? So if it doesn't accomplish that, then to me, I think they failed. And I think this whole liquid glass thing, I talked a little bit, I got a couple slides on that. It's the guy who was the head of that, his name is Alan Dye. He's gone on, he got wooed away to Meta. He's been the VP for Interface. And the whole liquid glass thing was, you know, not not well received by everybody, the nuances of it. And so he got some grief about that. I'm not sure if that was a cause for him to leave, or did Meta just wave a few tens of millions of dollars in his face and he decided to depart. But the interface design is important, and having there. I know Apple has certain guidelines, but they break them, just for the sake of having something new and different. And I think why break something that's I'm all for making thoughtful changes, enjoying different aesthetics, but it has to be, things have to be legible and easy to get to, and if we start to get away from the initial intuitive nature that drew all of us to Macs in the first place a long time ago. I think they've lost something that's pivotal and foundational for me. And but now they're a $4 trillion company, and been in business 40 plus years, and so time marches on. We'll see. Sometimes companies, when they get that massive, they don't behave the same way as aggressive startups that are nimble, and they have to make the most. They have to make some compelling reason for people wanting to use their product and stuff, and they're a bit more scrappy. Not the situation anymore. Apple's got deep pockets. They can afford to pay for good talent, and they've gone with the departure of Johnny Ives. I appreciate all the industrial design, the iPhone and the iPad and iMac. When Steve Jobs came back after during a beginning of his second tour duty, I appreciate a lot of the thoughtfulness, but sometimes he was almost too minimalist for me. I need, I don't want clutter, but I need visual cues. So that's the needle that they have to thread to pacify me, and that's how I judged the evolution of their interface. That's me.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Any other point of view about the new software update out there?
I'm sure we'll get in the next. Well, they just this time of the year, all the everyone's about to depart for the holidays, and so they won't be back to the first or second week, or probably second week of January. So they've released a beta of 26.3 already, but I think that's just a placeholder for work they'll begin doing at the beginning of the year. In the spring, the big one to look forward to is a 26.4. That's when they're going to start to implement some of this the Apple Intelligence stuff with a revamped Siri. What they had promised last year at the Worldwide Developers Conference, but they weren't able to deliver with this deal with Google, because they weren't able to build the foundation models in-house to do the AI they wanted. They paid Google $1 billion to use aspects of their Gemini AI to do certain functions for to help Siri along to do certain kinds of things. It won't be they won't have access to all portions of the OS, I guess. And it'll be stored on Apple servers. They won't have access to your private information. It'll be made in such a way that it'll just deliver certain parts of Siri, I guess. It's the way I understand it. But that should make an appearance in the spring sometime. I would think March, probably before the Worldwide Developers Conference, March, April, in that window of time, and we'll see if they were able to get it right. I'm sure it won't be perfect. It's a kind of a long-term kind of thing. They're going to probably continue working on this whole AI implementation into 2010, 27. Mark Gurman, I got a slide about that. Mark Gurman says that iOS 27 is going to be one of these where they just take care of the underpinnings of it, with the exception of the AI integration into the operating system, where they'll devote a whole bunch of time to it. They won't release any major significant features. They're just going to polish up the stuff under the hood, and I'm all for that. Sometimes things get released prematurely, and they don't work properly, or they work partially. Just kind of a fact of life, when you're trying new software, it's sometimes less than ideal, and so we have to muddle through beta versions. Sometimes I feel the general public is their beta testers, but it's the nature of the beast. If you get a situation where your computer is and your OS, you're comfortable with it, and it's working good for you, and you have some mission critical things to do, and you don't feel compelled to move to migrate unless there's some killer app that's gonna improve your productivity, or make your life easier in some way, or if there are some critical security issues that need to be patched that only occur with the next iteration. If you hang around computers and operating systems over the years, it's always a work in progress. This stuff. Hopefully, you get to a stable matrix and you're able to perform in an optimum fashion, but you hope for the best and try to prepare for the worst. And it's not getting any easier, sadly.
Lisa has a question. Hey, Pete, I made you a co-host.
Yeah, hi. Sally, we've got you up on the board, but I don't have a last name for you.
Walters.
Walters, thank you.
Mhm.
Now you can be in the raffle.
Oh,
Or the
okay.
door prize, I should say.
I'm gonna step out for a second.
Don't get us arrested.
Yeah.
Or
I'm always the one
denied.
so careful about it, and then I go and blow it. Oh,
Denied. All right.
There's somebody named Bev also.
yeah, it's
Bev.
Bev Lawrence.
Bev,
That
yes.
one I know.
Bob, you're such a I thought you were being serious. See, you stressed me.
She just fixed it.
Yeah, it's done. Benny. Well, Pete, it's all your dance, sir, if you'd like, unless there's something else I have. Anyone have? Very well. Take her away, Pete.
Okay, hey, thank you. Thanks everybody for having me. I am so excited to see almost 30 people turn out for 3D printing. What the heck?
Woohoo!
So I'm really excited to see that. I'd like to check in with you all first. I mean, I've got a lot planned for us tonight. There's a lot to pack in, but I'd like to check in with you all first and just ask why you're here. What about 3D printing maybe interests you? Are you already a 3D printer? Is it a hobby for you, or is there something you're curious about specifically? Or you just want to take a tour through the general, what is the state of 3D printing today type of thing? So happy to hear any questions or burning desires out there to show or see something.
I'm curious about what you're able to actually fabricate. What's available to consumers these days without, what's the state of art as far as consumer grade equipment, and how steep is the learning curve for the software?
Sweet. Yes, those are
Can I
think,
can I
the most
interrupt you
important
for a moment?
questions. Oh yeah, go ahead, Bob.
What's happened to Al's news?
I would just assume that we were progressing. It's still there, but
Or are
Oh
you going to
yeah,
do it
if you
later?
haven't gotten through
well,
your segment yet, please continue.
no. Let's see here. I am I am flexible.
No,
Oh, do
yeah, I
oh,
mean,
okay. Huh. Just asking.
Should
I'm
we
going to join from
go?
my phone too. But Al, do you want to wrap that? Do you want to go ahead and
Yeah, let's see what time is we got
7:30.
okay. I can do uh probably take me about 15, 17 minutes, something like that, Pete. Will that crap your style?
No, heck no, I might just jump in and make it longer.
Okay, let me see here. Something is here is let's see. The screen of mine here just jumped all over the place here.
Took a bad spill today on a scooter. My hands are all banged up, and
Oh my God.
ribs are either bruised or just something. But yeah, I was out with my son on the scooter and forgot I was 50 something. I was like, oh, this is fun until I fell. Yeah,
Sneaks up on you.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, here. See, I'm having some window management issues here. Let me
Wait, it's like getting a bunch of organization in your home, then you got to fill all that stuff with something. You get a bunch of monitors, you got to fill them all with windows. Yeah.
Okay.
Speedy recovery on your mishap.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Things don't heal as
Arnica
quick as they used to. Yeah. Thank you.
What is this?
I went to a birthday party today. Get this, 3 people 100 years old.
Oh
Wow.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's something, huh?
You should all be so lucky. Yes.
Pete, just for verification, are you also checked in with your iPhone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
We're gonna tour the laboratory,
Perfect.
so that'll make me
Yeah.
mobile.
Perfect. Thank you.
And Pete,
Oh,
Oh, that's right.
your question about 3D printing, I don't have one. I don't really plan to get one, but I'm always fascinated, and it's really cool to know what can be made now, and that it's out there. I like knowing that I could ask somebody, or somebody could do this instead of I don't know, having to order something, or it's just cool to know what can be done by people like you or people like me that are just more motivated.
Yeah. Hey, and after tonight, you might just go, you know what? It's time. I think I'm ready. You know,
I might.
once,
I might. Might
once
be
you
an
see.
expensive class tonight.
yeah.
Yeah, well, hopping in at the beginner level for 3D printing has become quite inexpensive, and I'll show you that a little bit here too. So yeah, lots of exciting things for me anyway to go over tonight.
Dude,
Key,
they're
let
building
me
houses that way now. So
What's that, Bob?
it says they're using 3D printing to build homes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
yeah,
it's a
I have
pretty good
seen that.
idea.
Yes.
I have seen that. Should I go ahead and jump in here real quick and
Yes, yes.
get through
Oh
this?
yeah.
Okay, here. Okay. All righty. Can everyone see the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. Welcome to our Apple Tech News segment of the meeting. The month of December has been filled with a few interesting tidbits. This month, there's been continuing news about Apple's leadership shuffle. Tim Cook celebrated a birthday on November 1st. He is 65 years old. Cook's been Apple CEO for 14 years. That makes him the longest tenured Apple CEO, and has been with the company for 27 years. Well, given those facts, there's been a whole bunch of speculation about when he's going to step down. One recent Financial Times report claims that Apple's developing a succession plan with Cook that who could step down as soon as next year. However, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman replied to the Financial Times story saying he didn't think a change is imminent. Government suggested the possibility that the report was planted. He's also previously reported that hardware engineering vice president John Turnus is being eyed as a successor. There's just one interesting data point in any discussion about Apple CEO's succession plan. The company has a longstanding policy guideline of requiring board members to be under the age of 75. With Tim turning 65 this year, obviously he has about a 10-year runway to do what he wants. The current chairman of the board, Arthur D. Levinson, turned 75 this year, so there will be a vacancy at the next annual meeting of the shareholders, probably late February, early March. There is a scenario that Tim assumes the role of chairman of the board and CEO potentially, presumably relinquishing the CEO position at some point, but available to help in an orderly transition, unlike the succession of his predecessor, Steve Jobs, when he passed away. While the uncertainty of Tim's status may be waning, Apple's going through an unusually large wave of senior departures, including heads of AI, interface design, legal, and some policy. All of them reporting to Tim Cook, which signals one of the biggest C-suite shakeups in decades. One of the highest profile executives considering departing is a gentleman named Johnny Srouji. He is Apple's senior vice president of hardware technologies and the architect of Apple Silicon. I guess he's told Tim Cook he's seriously considering leaving the company and may join another firm. Internal sources say Srouji has told colleagues he'd like to pursue opportunities outside of Apple if he ultimately departs. Cook's been trying to retain him. Obviously, reports suggest Apple's offered him a stronger compensation package and potentially expanded roles, possibly the CTO position, Chief Technology Officer. Through discussions with Srouji leaving, they have circulated. More recent reports indicated he told his team that he doesn't plan to leave anytime soon. Just pushing back on the public rumors. Perhaps his negotiations with Apple have been completed to his satisfaction. Who knows? Behind closed doors. Srouji's potential exit is especially important because Apple Silicon chips are a core competitive strength, and losing the leader during a major product transitions could really disrupt Apple's hardware roadmap. Also, I mentioned this earlier, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman has continued this series of scoops about Meta hiring away Apple employees by reporting that Alan Dye is leaving Apple for Meta. Dye was Apple's VP of Interface and figurehead of numerous Apple product announcements. Most notably this summer's rollout of their fairly divisive new liquid glass interface appearance. Up next, Apple may change its iPhone launch cadence, starting with the iPhone 18 era, shifting away from long-standing one big launch per year model. Instead of debuting the entire lineup at once in the fall, Apple could move to a two-phase release schedule. Under this rumored plan, iPhone 18 Pro, the iPhone 18 Pro Max, and a potential folding iPhone could launch in the traditional September window of 2026. The standard iPhone 18 and cheaper iPhone 18e and probably others could follow in the spring of 2027 instead of with the fall group. This would formalize a semi-annual launch pattern that insiders claim Apple intends to continue in the coming years. On Friday, December 12th, Apple released the 26.2 iteration of iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. Here's a quick overview of some of the iOS features that were included. There is, we were talking about this earlier, a new slider in the lock screen customization menu. Lets you adjust the opacity of liquid glass for the clock, allowing you to decide how clear or how frosted it appears. This comes after iOS 26.1 when they added the clear and the tinted options for the liquid glass overall. At least they're listening to all the pain people are feeling out there. iOS 26.2 adds offline lyric support for Apple Music. This allows you to view a song's lyrics even when you're not connected to Wi-Fi or a cellular network. Apple's sleep score update. Apple says sleep scores are calculated based on how long you slept, the consistency of when you fell asleep, and the frequency and duration of waking up during the night. The feature is available in the Health app on all iPhone models compatible with iOS 26 and in the Sleep app on all Apple Watch models compatible with Watch OS 26. Also, in 26.2, you can set alarms for reminders in Apple's Reminders app. When adding a reminder, selecting a time and then logging on the urgent option will cause the alarm to go off at the designated time. When a reminder alarm activates, it displays a snooze option or a slide to stop option. If you snooze it, it will show a live activity countdown on the lock screen that includes an option to complete the reminder or reschedule it. Apple distinguishes reminders alarms from standard alarms with a new blue color. Apple also provides a splash screen letting users know about the feature, plus a small banner that shows up when you go to add a new entry in the Reminders app after updating to 26.2. Apple's podcast app has 3 new features, which include automatic chapters for episodes, timed links on the screen, and the ability to view other podcasts that a podcast mentions right from the audio player and the transcript. Pretty handy. I've wanted that for quite a while. In the Apple News app, there is now a dedicated following tab and buttons for quick access to topics like sports, puzzles, politics, business, and food. Starting with iOS 26.2, your phone screen can flash when you receive a notification. Previously, this setting was limited to the LED camera flash on the back of the phone. In the Settings app, under Accessibility, if you go to Audio and Visual, and then to Flash for alerts, there are now options for LED flash, screen, and both, or you can keep the setting turned off entirely. If you're doing any traveling in Europe soon, iOS 26.2 makes live translation on AirPods available in the EU. Live translation allows you to understand someone who is speaking a different language like you. For example, if you speak English and someone is speaking to you in French, Siri can tell you what they're saying in English through your AirPods. The feature works best when both participants in a conversation are using live translation on their respective AirPods. If you're talking with someone who is not wearing AirPods, you can display a live transcription in the other person's language on your iPhone.
I just wanted to jump in here, if you
Sure.
don't mind, and say we had a client from MacNexus, or I had a client from MacNexus. In fact, they were here on the last meeting. They're not here tonight, but they are going, abroad and asked me for a recommendation. They bought the AirPods. We got them set up over Zoom to do the live translate and things like that, and it was easy to get there, easy to set up, and just a delightful feature to be able to hear the translated language in your ear while they're talking. It was really interesting to set up. So if anybody out there is interested, or you got to travel and you might be intimidated by getting this set up, let me know and I'm happy to help.
Yeah, and some good deals to be had out there over the Christmas holidays as far as AirPods as well.
Can I ask a question about that, Pete?
Sure.
Yeah.
Or when it says it works best if both people have them, is that just a way to try and sell another set, or does it really? If the other person speaks English, but you don't speak French, do they really need to have it? Or
well, apparently you can, if only one party has them, you can still use a live transcription of the other person's language on your phone, so that they can look at your phone and you can be presumably listening and you can have that conversation with just one set of AirPods.
And the
uh,
phone also has conversation mode where it
yes,
turns it into
yes,
almost a game board. It divides the
yes.
middle and they get one side and you get the other. It's really cool to
It
watch.
works great. It works great. It works great.
Sally asked what model, or I forget the
Here,
term,
let
of
me get that to
the
you right now. It's
iPad. Oh,
my next
okay.
thing.
Okay.
Live translations available on the AirPods Pro 3, the AirPods Pro 2, and the higher end AirPods 4 with the active noise cancellation. The feature launched in the US and selected other countries with iOS 26, but was not available in the European Union until 26.2. As Apple said, it needed additional time to ensure compliance with the EU's Digital Markets Act. In addition to compatible AirPods, users need an iPhone 15 Pro or newer with Apple Intelligence turned on and Apple's Translate app installed. So,
And just to clarify, Al, basically, if they charge using
Ken?
their AirPods Pro via a USB-C cable, that's the 2 or the 3.
there you go. There you go. There you go. All righty, moving on. If you haven't already downloaded, there is an iPad OS 26.2 now available. The one major change involves bringing back a key multitasking tool that was available in iPad OS 18, but got removed in the first iteration of iPad OS 26. Drag and drop can now be used for placing apps in different multitasking setups. Here's what the new multitasking and gestures options in the settings look like. When Apple introduced a more flexible, dynamic app windowing system in iPad OS 26, it removed the old system that relied on drag and drop gestures. But in iPad OS 26.2, you can now drag app icons out of your dock or spotlight results and then drag them onto different parts of the screen as a multitasking shortcut. When you hold an app icon over the screen, the icon now morphs into different shapes to indicate what form it will take when you drop it. You can use drag and drop to open an app in full screen, a half screen split view layout, or make it your slide over window. Also on December 12th, macOS 26.2 was released. Here are a few features that we can expect. It features a new edge light feature, which adds a virtual ring light to the Mac's display when the user is in a video call. Looking forward to trying this out. It also works with online-based streaming platforms, allowing users to customize with intensity, width, and temperature of the light. When the user hovers the cursor over the ring light, that specific portion of the effect becomes dimmed, allowing the user to quickly access what's underneath it. This feature is available only on Mac models with Apple Silicon, and it offers an auto-enable feature for post-2024 Macs when the user is in a dark environment. Here's a recap of some of the common features across iOS, iPadOS, and macOS Tahoe in the 26.2 iteration version. They have this thing called airdrop codes, which allows you to share files in a one-time numeric code. No need to open AirDrop to everyone. You used to have to be in your contacts list before you could AirDrop anything to them. It works identically on iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and it's important because it fixes real-world sharing friction and reduces, improves privacy. Another feature are reminders urgent alerts. There's a new urgent flag for reminders. It triggers a high priority notification and alarm style alert. It syncs cleanly across all devices, and it's important because finally makes reminders reliable for time critical tasks. And also for podcast app improvements, now includes automatic chapters. like I was saying earlier, as well as clickable podcast links that are now mentioned in the episodes. And for continuity, it has the same behavior and user interface logic across platforms. Small changes, but makes long-term listening less annoying. Always important. Uh, this iteration, it emphasizes under the hood stability and polish. Bug fixes, there's some animation smoothing, some performance cleanup, no headline features essentially for 26.2, but fewer rough edges. This is a quality of life release and not necessarily a marketing one. Features that are not common and worth calling out are the slide over fixes that are intrinsic to iPad OS only. The lock screen clock transparency that's only for iOS and iPad OS only, and window tweaks and Mac OS Tahoe only. Looking ahead to iOS 27, Mark Gurman from Bloomberg says iOS 23 will be similar to the old Snow Leopard. This from OS 10 year when they were just not working on anything flashy as far as features, but just fixing bugs and improving performance and stabilizing the iOS 26's big design. We can expect fewer headline features, more under the hood cleanup, reliability and responsiveness and polish. The one major area of expansion is, like I said earlier, Apple Intelligence, deeper, more integrated AI across the system and apps. It'll be a reset year, essentially, according to Mark Gurman. And finally tonight, for those intrepid enough to work on their own equipment, iFixit has launched a mobile repair app that brings its DIY repair guides and tools into your pocket. The app uses an AI assistant called a FixBot, trained on iFixit's extensive repair library to help diagnose issues and guide you through fixes. It has all of iFixit's 100,000 plus repair guides, which cover a huge range of devices from iPhones to cars. There's a real-time battery health monitor built in that prompts when a replacement might be needed. iPhone Fixit was previously banned from the App Store over a teardown controversy in 2010, but it's back in the store for there's a free version of it. All the links generated here tonight will be distributed in a PDF by Bob White in his normal MacNexus email blast. I will post it sooner on our Facebook page. Our Facebook page is a great forum for late-breaking curated Apple tech news and support. We encourage everyone to come check it out.
So Sally has a question here before, if you don't mind, Pete.
Nope.
She wanted a big comparison, I believe, of using an iPad versus a computer. And I think, Bob, do you only use an iPad now? Or
I think I answered. I think the topic was. I think Sally, that was a continuation of her question about AirPods and the translation,
okay.
but I could be
Brilliant.
wrong.
No,
Good.
this is
Yeah.
Sally.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at, I need to get a new computer, I think, because it's no longer available for updates. And I was thinking about, can I just get by with the iPad? Is there any reason to have a desktop computer?
That's for sure.
It depends on who you ask, but I am a huge advocate of shedding the Mac and being iPad only. I do believe that it is now possible to do pretty much anything you might do on a Mac on an iPad, especially these M-chip iPads. I have an M3, which isn't even the most current generation, and I can't slow the thing down. And I'm a very advanced user. I use it for all kinds of things that most users will likely never use it for. So I am a big advocate of leaping from Mac OS to iOS entirely, unless you have an argument for that. And many of you do have a good argument. Maybe it's pro-level video editing or photography editing, or there are reasons why a MacBook Pro or a MacBook or an iMac are still viable options. But I say leap if you're thinking about going from full Mac OS experience to iOS. I think we're quite ready for that. again, with notable exceptions. If you have a good argument, good. But yeah, I think most people would probably thrive in the iPad OS environment.
So my computer is like a 2018 or something, and I can't update it anymore, which just happened. And I can't, so I don't really do a lot of photographs. I might get videos and want to clip them, or, change the lighting and stuff like that, which is stuff I can do on my iPhone. So
Yeah.
would I be able to do all that on an iPad?
Oh yeah, that and much more. I doubt you'd even reach your limits on an iPad, pretty much ever, depending on what you're into. Even 3D modeling and 3D printing, I create most of my own custom creations on the iPad. I don't even use the desktop experience at all. So yeah, I do believe that you can now make the leap. I didn't always feel that way. iPad OS or iOS didn't always bring the file system to us in a transparent way, but they've fixed that. They've now brought the file system to us using the Files app in a way that satisfies all of my use cases. So yeah, I really do believe it's time for those of you who have been wondering.
Files app, meaning every file that's on my Mac computer can go on my iPad?
Yes, indeed. It used to be that iPad didn't have its own file system. You couldn't see it. They hid it. It was all there, but they hid it at first, I think, to simplify the OS. But now it's a fully fledged, Finder, basically. They won't call it the Finder on iOS because they're reserving that for Mac. They call it Files or the Files app,
Oh,
but it's basically a fully fledged Finder.
okay. Well, I think you answered my question.
That's one opinion, though. Somebody might come back strongly and say, no, you need a MacBook Pro or something, and I'm open to that too.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about a desktop.
Or iMac. Yeah,
My iPad is even older, so yeah. And I'm not, I mean, just making airplane reservations and stuff like that. It's, yeah, been a little tricky, but okay. I think you've answered my question.
All yours, Pete.
Okay, well, jumping in, I saw some of the chats. Yeah, I think we're going to cover everything that you had put in the chat, but I always love to start this one by showing you the oldest version of a 3D printer that we have, and I'm just going to show you that now. This is a hot glue gun. Anybody ever got your hands on a hot glue gun like this?
Mm-hmm.
Or it doesn't have to be like this. Have you used a hot glue gun at all?
Yes.
If you have, then you were a 3D printer. Why do you say that? Well, let me show you. This hot glue gun, and it's just any standard hot glue gun. It's really nothing fancy. Maybe it's a little fancy because it's wireless, so it has a battery that charges. The brand name, I highly, if you're a glue gun person, Hoto is the name of this glue gun. I think it was about 30 bucks. But a glue gun works like this. You put in the glue, and then you squeeze this trigger, and the glue comes out, and you put it onto your surface or build plate or whatever you'd like to call it. So I'm going to squeeze some glue out just into a circle. It's not quite ready yet, but yeah, I'm just going to squeeze some glue into a circle. I've just acted as a 3D printer. What I've done was I've controlled the flow of the glue with the trigger. I've heated the glue so it will come out the other end. I've inserted the glue here, and I've built it up on this build plate where you can see if I keep going around in a circle, that's just going to get taller and taller, right? My little circle is going to get taller and taller if I keep stacking on top of it. And what happens if I blow? While I'm doing it, it cools it so it doesn't squish down. So it cools it. So if you've ever used a heat gun, you are the makings of a 3D printer. A 3D printer is made up of a hot end where the glue comes out, filament goes in, and then it is on an XY axis where it moves around, controlled by a computer. So the only difference between you and a 3D printer when you're using a hot glue gun is the precision in which you're laying down the material. Leave that to a machine controlled by a computer and you can get some really precise stuff. But a 3D printer is nothing more really than a hot glue gun and a build plate. run by an XY axis with high precision. The 3D printer knows when to go up a level and keep building. The 3D printer knows when to cool off the filament because it needs it to stack higher. The 3D printer knows when to make the filament hotter. So if you've ever used a heat gun, you were a 3D printer for those moments that you were using one. And when we go to the lab here in a moment, I'll show you the parallel there where those parts exist on the 3D printer. Hopefully that is a little bit of insight because many of us have used a glue gun. And then you're thinking, oh, yes, now I now understand. You control the flow, the heat, blow on it to cool it off. You'll see when we look at the 3D printer, it has all those elements. Now, I wanted to talk about the state of 3D printing today. Some really exciting stuff has happened over the last about 5 years, I'd say. And that is that 3D printers aren't, how do I say it, dumb anymore. And I mean that in terms of technology, right? There's smart technology and there's dumb technology. I had the first 3D printer, or one of the first 3D printers. It was by Dremel. I got this printer probably 15 years ago, and it was dumb. It just didn't have any smarts in it. You basically insert an SD card with code on it, and that SD card would inform the printer what to do, and the printer would just do it. It didn't have sensors, or it wasn't able to understand whether the build plate was even or uneven. It was all manual. So I learned by tightening thumb screws and troubleshooting over and over and over again. It was very difficult in the beginning. It was frustrating. Just to get one good print was almost impossible. You had to babysit the thing. You had to be just as much of a mechanic as a driver. So back in the early days, there was a lot of frustration, and it was really only a comfortable place for the geeks who really were going to dig in and figure out how to be that mechanic and the driver. Well, I'm here to report good news. The 3D printers of today are smart. In fact, very smart. And they take a lot of the guesswork or the need to be a mechanic right out of the process, which I think is where larger adoption comes in. If you don't have to be a mechanic and you can just get in and drive, I think that really makes it much more of an attractive proposition. Now, having said that, no matter what 3D printer you buy, you have two choices when you get it. You can either be a person who downloads other people's creations and then prints them, or you can be a person who just designs all your own custom stuff and print that. You could be a combination of the two, sure, but you're going to take one of those roads when you go to print something. You either see stuff online that you like and you want to print it, and so you're going to go that route, or you're going to come up with solutions to problems, either in your home or at your workplace, or somebody on the call tonight is into a hobby where they can print 3D printed parts for their hobby to build up. Let's say it's model trains or something. You can 3D print parts that will enhance your hobby that way too. Now, I want to talk through the two paths, the path of selecting something that somebody else made and printing it, or doing your own thing. So I'll share with you the both ways that is possible today. Before I do that, I want to let you know that I've used my highly tuned radar for good service. I have a good sniffer, and I can sniff out when companies act in service of you, the consumer, or when they don't. I hear it loud and clear for some reason. I think it was ingrained in me in the 25 years I spent on the retail sales floor. I spent 25 years managing retail. CompUSA is where you met me probably. From that, I have a good sniffer to see, is a company putting me first, or are they putting their policies and things like that first? I'll tell you how far I go with that is if I see a menu and on the bottom it says no substitutions, that bothers me. Because that is not a customer first approach. That is not a restaurant who's allowing you to come in and enjoy your experience. So even little things like that bug me. Well, I've found what I consider the Apple of the 3D printer world. A company that does put the customer first and is invested in making 3D printing easy for everyone. They've got a printer at just about every price point for beginners all the way up to advanced users. And they've closed the ecosystem. This is key. You might think that sounds bad to the ear. Wait a minute. They've done what? They've closed the ecosystem. They've taken away some of my freedom. Yes, for this difficult hobby, there are plenty of 3D printers out there that allow you complete freedom. Install your own software, firmware, hardware. You can tweak every aspect of it. And there are people out there who like doing that. I think it's torture to take a printer that isn't smart and try to make it work. It's just not the hobby I want to have. But if you buy a smart printer, this particular company has made it so print failures are almost a thing of the past. That's a bold thing to say because print failures were very common just before this last 5 years. The company who came along and proved themselves to be a consumer first company is Bamboo Labs, and Bamboo is spelled B-A-M-B-U, Bamboo Labs. I believe that if you select the Bamboo Labs printer, you would have an excellent experience in using that printer. Now, all these print companies are starting to realize that getting creators into their ecosystem is good for them. Now, let me give you an example of another company who did that, YouTube, right? YouTube pays creators for them to upload their content there so YouTube can drive ad revenue, right? If you go watch my content on YouTube, YouTube gets ad revenue, so does the creator in some cases. The 3D printer companies have found the same type of gold rush. If they can get their users on their platform uploading their models there, whoever has the most flourishing marketplace is going to win. So Bamboo Labs has done a great job of creating a flourishing marketplace of models to print. So if you take the path of, I want to print models that already exist, over the path of, I want to be a custom model builder, then you would go to the Bamboo Labs Maker World is what they call their marketplace, Maker Lab. Maker World is what they call their marketplace. So I'm going to show you Maker World just so you can get a glimpse at what kind of things you could expect to see after purchasing a 3D printer from Bamboo Labs. So I'm going to use this screen here. And I am now on what is called Maker World, or in other words, Bamboo Labs marketplace for 3D printed designs. Now, as you can see here, holiday designs seem to be quite the trending thing. You've got lots of different things here, and I'm just going to click on a couple of them so you can see some of the things that people are up to today in 3D printing. Now, what you're seeing here is all creators out there in the world uploading their creations here for you to download and print yourself. That's one of the beautiful things about 3D printing is if I print something cool, like a kitchen organizer, and you say, I would love one of those. Well, if you have a 3D printer, I can just email you the file and you can print it out on your end, on your 3D printer. So these creators are uploading these designs to what's called Maker World. And then you as a Bamboo Labs printer owner can go to Maker World, download, and print these designs. Now, other companies like Anycubic is another printer company, or Prusa is another 3D printer company. They're also trying to stand up their marketplace and their ecosystem. So everybody's incentivizing a little bit. They're saying, hey, upload your images or your 3D models here, and we'll even give you some gift certificates. So I haven't really uploaded anything, but if you do, they'll give you points and then you can cash those points in for stuff. I haven't participated in that much. I've uploaded one model, but I'm really not interested in being part of the marketplace. Now, I'm just going to double click on one of these so you can take a closer look. Now, there's the Santa from Rudolph, I believe. Somebody's made a keychain out of it. And it's basically showing here that, hey, there it is. You can 3D print it. And coming off your 3D printer, you'll have a bunch of these little Santa keychains. That's just one of many examples. And you can search too. So if I wanted to find... and in fact, here, this is something I did. Upstairs, there's a situation where one of the bathrooms, it's easier to have the bathroom tissue on the countertop. It's just the easiest way because of the bathroom's design. And so I found and 3D printed a perfectly good solution for that. So I'll just type in bathroom tissue holder. And you might be going, there's going to be a bathroom tissue holder? No, There's going to be hundreds of bathroom tissue holders. And you can see here, if you needed a new bathroom tissue holder, you have, well, pretty much unlimited options to choose from. You could choose a traditional one like this that mounts to the wall. You can choose, a countertop style one that you can pull the tissue right out of the side. There is an almost unlimited amount of tissue holders or bathroom tissue holders. I printed one just like this. It sits in my bathroom today. It's one of my wife's favorite 3D prints that I've done. And then the paper just goes in the box. So it's not just toys and games. There's lots of practical solutions here. I'm just going to put in model trains here and just see what comes up because I know that's a popular hobby. Let's see, model trains. Tons of different things to print, not only trains themselves, but pieces and parts that go to larger hobby kits and things like that. Tons of different models to choose from. So I guess what I just wanted to demonstrate here was the rich and vibrant ecosystem of 3D printable things that already exist out there. You could buy a 3D printer, print things that exist out there, and never even design your own thing if you didn't want to. Everybody's already done the work for you. I'm going to go back here and I'm just going to search for what's trending right now. So I'm going to come here and let's see, models. And find the trending 30-day trending. Now, if you want to see this, you can go to makerworld.com. So if you are curious and would like to open this in your own browser, you can go to makerworld.com and browse around. Now, I also want to talk about, now this will close the discussion about 3D printing other people's stuff. If this is what you would be interested in buying a 3D printer for, keep in mind that you can find almost anything on MakerWorld, whether it's bathroom tissue holders, Christmas ornaments, model trains, whatever it is you're looking for, you're likely to find hundreds of options to print. Candy cane earrings, cool. And as a matter of fact, my daughter who's in college, I printed a few of these earrings. We got some earring kits from Amazon, and over the table right here, I'll show you in a moment, got a little station where we are building earrings. Now, I'm going to talk now to the folks who would want a 3D printer to do their own thing. And so this is a great example here. I'm in a graphics editor here. And I was making a Christmas ornament for someone. And in this graphics editor, I can design this Christmas ornament flat. Here I've designed it using Affinity. You could design it using Canva if you want, or whatever design program you're comfortable with. The thing about 3D printers is they must have, or every 3D print must be processed by a go-between called a slicer.
I don't think we're seeing what you think we're seeing.
Does it say HP 2020 companies?
Yep. Okay,
Yeah. That's a Christmas ornament that I'm designing. So you see the little hole in there. I started out flat in a graphics program like you see here. And I just thought I'd bring you a practical example because this is something I'm in real life printing right now. So I thought I would show you my workflow here. So the first thing you do is design it flat. You could design it in Canva or another graphics editor like that. And then you need to send it to the go-between that every 3D printed model has to go through. And that's called a slicer. What a slicer does is simply breaks down the model into the language that 3D printers can understand. After all, 3D printers are very complex. So somebody has to tell it, okay, on layer 1, which is fractions of a millimeter thick, I want you to go to these pivot or plot points and then raise up to level 2, layer 2, and then do it again. And then in here, I want it to be red, and over here, I want it to be green. The thing that you use to assign all those instructions is called a slicer. Some people get really into their slicers, and some people just let the program do the work. I am more of the type to just let the program do the work. So once I've designed it flat like this, I can export it over into a 3D or like a CAD type of program, so I can extrude it and turn it into a 3D model. So you can see here, I've turned this ornament into a 3D model. It's got separate parts that I can, extrude or manipulate in 3D. At this point, you might be going, well, Pete, that's the hard part. How do I know how to use CAD type programs for 3D modeling. It really is just a little bit of tinkering, right? I use something called Shaper 3D. That's SHAPR, Shaper, SHAPR 3D. I pay $300 a year to use this program, but it is incredible. There's an iPad version that operates at top speed all the time. No matter how complicated the model I'm creating, I cannot slow it down. So I just can't overstate the extraordinary value of the Shaper 3D application. It's on iPad, it's on Mac OS, Windows, all platforms. You can use this app. So I highly recommend Shaper 3D for those folks who want to do their own designing. Now, if you have a CAD background and you say, well, I really know AutoCAD, or I really know another program that does CAD, then by all means, lean into that. It can be any program that's CAD based. I just happen to use Shaper 3D because it is a new interface that is touch first on the iPad and optimized for exporting 3D prints. But there are other options out there. So once you have created your design in CAD, and I'll get over the boring stuff here in just a sec, we'll go toward the actual machines. Once you get this designed the way you want it in a 3D program, then you head over to the slicer. And in the slicer, that is where you will tell the 3D printer exactly how you want this printed. So now here we are in the slicer. This is a visualization of the build plate. I'm going to slice this plate, and you're going to see basically what the 3D print would look like if I sent it. So here it is. Here is the 3D printed or the virtually 3D printed piece where I can run this progress bar down and you would be able to see exactly what the 3D printer is going to do to create this file. So I get to see how that's going to progress. And this will be a nice ornament that they can hang on their tree. So I'm going to pause for a moment and just recap. We talked about 3D printing being smart now, these rich marketplaces full of models that other people made. So when you buy these printers, set them up, which is a little bit of a learning curve. It comes with very clear instructions, but you got to turn a wrench to get these things assembled. But once you've got it assembled, you can start downloading files from the internet, Maker World, if you'd like to browse, and print them. But if you're the type who wants to go their own way, then sure, you're going to want to know how to use CAD. You're going to want to know how to import SVGs into the slicer. You're going to want to know how to slice those things up. I've been doing those things for over a decade. So if you are somebody interested in 3D print, you have me as your guide. You don't have to be scared that you won't have an expert at your disposal because I will be there to help you if you need it. So if you want to get into 3D printing, know that you've got me, and I'm always happy to help. Now, I'm going to put on this contraption here. This is a something. I don't even think there's a name for it. All right, and then I'm going to put my phone here. Like that. Okay, and then I'll turn on this. No, we don't want to see that side of things. Flip this around. Okay, and there's what you're seeing. There's you guys. And then Al, tune in. Look at that little screen down there. You see that? I got the big screen up here. Look at that little one down there. It's got my Chat GPT down there and other little things. It acts as a third monitor. And yeah, really a good little cheater screen down there. I think I put the link in the chat next time, but I'll do that here in a moment.
I don't see,
Okay, just a quick tour. Oh, who was that?
I
Sal?
don't see anything different. I just see you with your cell phone.
Yes. Let me spotlight this here. Spotlight for everyone. There we go. There's my feed from my phone. Oh, don't look at my messy wires under the desk. It's like a hammock of wires down there on my standing desk. But here, I wanted to come over here. Let me see. Let me unmute that. I'm going to turn the volume down here. There we go. Let's turn that one off. One second. Work out this. Okay. All right. Now you should be able to see and hear. Give me a check. Anybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, you got me. Good. All right. Here's what we're gonna. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Cancel. Just raise that volume up.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
we
I'm
see
having a
your
little glitch
plumbing.
here. One moment, one moment. Okay, we should be good now. You see this weird tree, right? You see this tree here?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We're in the right place. Let me just adjust my camera here. All right, very good. This is a hydroponic garden that I 3D printed. You see these are pots here, and I can remove these pots. These pots were made on my 3D printer, and you put your seedlings inside here. Inside this hydroponic garden is a pump. And so I've 3D printed a lid that goes on top of a Lowe's bucket. I put food and nutrients in here. I run the pump, and the pump shoots water up through. See up here at the top, I've got a tube and a dispersal thing here. And this was not my design. Somebody else cleverly designed all of this. And what I did was printed all the pieces out and put them together, thus having this 9-pot hydroponic garden. The cost of the materials you see here was about $30. And that would include the cover I printed for the bucket and the hydroponic parts. So I just wanted to demonstrate like the depth and breadth of different things you'll see here tonight. Here's another spot where we were making earrings. Those are 3D printed, and we were able to make them into kits here. And she's home from college and sort of doing this in her spare time. So little earrings being created here, all 3D printed, like this design here, come out on the 3D printer. Okay, we're gonna walk by the arcade. Ooh, here's the arcade. I just want to take you on a sneak peek down this unfinished hallway. And this is where Empower Tech Studios is going to be. As you can see, it's a blank canvas. We're gonna get all this stuff out of here. It was a music studio for my son, but we are gonna turn this into Empower Tech Studios. The materials are here. We are ready to start building. So there's that. Okay, into the laboratory. Let's head over to where 3D printers are humming away. Here we have the Bamboo Labs. This is called the A1 3D printer. This 3D printer is currently printing. So if we look closely, you can see that this nozzle here is purging filament. And after it purges the filament, it dumps it into this bucket of waste. This is waste that happens when you change colors of a 3D print. And so here I've got a bunch of waste. But you can see here that the printer is acting as a glue gun. Here's where the glue is coming out of that nozzle, and it just happens to have a very high precision XY axis to keep it on track. Now, not all prints go well. As a matter of fact, cousin printer right over here is failing miserably, as you can see. This 3D print has gone wrong. Now, this is a dumb 3D printer. I don't mean the brand is bad, because it isn't. It's a very good brand, but it doesn't have the sensors or the modern abilities of the new printer. So failed prints like this were very common up until about 5 years ago. So you can see that this was going to be something, but it's failed. So I'll have to throw that away or recycle it and start again on the build plate. Now the Bamboo Labs. Oh, good question, Sally. I see that question. Can you recycle the plastic? And the answer is yes. It is PLA or polylactic acid type of plastic. And yes, it can be remelted even and made into new filaments if you want to have that investment. Now for this particular 3D printer, this is the Bamboo Lab A1. It is a perfect beginner printer if you are interested in getting into 3D printing. I believe it's $299 is the price, $299 for the base model. Now what I've done is I've added something called an AMS, or an automatic material switcher. Now, as you can see from the dumb 3D printers of the past, I don't mean that pejoratively, sorry, Prusha, I don't mean to call you dumb, but there's only one spool of filament here, and it's feeding into one hot end. So the most colors I could print on this 3D printer at the same time without switching manually is one. This one, however, you can see that I've got two colors going. I've got translucent and black going at the same time. That's because this unit here is called an automatic material switcher. 1, 2, 3, 4 colors are connected, and those colors travel through these tubes called a Bowden tube and right into the hot end. Basically, this is a glue gun and this is the glue. It's just skinnier. It has to travel through a tube, but it's going right through that hot end down there. And there's a little fan telling it how hot to be or how cool to be. Now, here's some practical examples of things that I've built that are in my workshop here. And by the way, the workshop is right next door. We do woodworking in here and lots of different things like that. So it was fitting to print this little screw gauge here. I 3D printed it right on the Bamboo Lab. And now I can find out what gauge my screw is and what the thread count is and all that kind of stuff. As you can see, the quality is quite extraordinary, and it is a perfect gauge and measurement tool. Here's another tool I printed, which I find really useful, and that is a radius gauge set. So I can take any one of these little chips. It will tell me what radius that chip is. So this is 30. And I can measure different things to find out exactly what the radius of like a circle is. I can use this to figure that out. Conversely, I have the opposite here. I have convex, and so I can figure out what any of these radiuses are. Why would I do that? Well, because if I want to 3D print a custom thing, I'll need to know what radius it is, so I can put that into my CAD program and custom print. Some other examples of things I printed, my wife said, can you make a little pot for flowers? And I said, sure, I can. So that was printed here on the Prusa. I just used a dumb 3D printer, but was able to make that. Now, this will scale, just like any 3D print. You can scale it to whatever size you want, as long as the build plate supports it. So this build plate here is about 8 inches by 8 inches. Same with the Bamboo Labs A1. This big one over here, though, this is a giant build plate. You can see how small that looks right in the middle of it. This will allow me to print 16 inches by 16 inches by 16 inches high. But you can see how absolutely monstrous this thing is. It's taller than me, and I'm 6 feet tall, and it takes up lots of room. Here is the automatic material switcher, the AMS. 4 colors are in there. They run through these Bowden tubes to the hot end there. I just got this 3D printer. It's by a company called Anycubic, and it's called the Cobra 3. Guess where it's going? Right back to the manufacturer. I'm sending it back. I have the boxes in my workshop, and I'm going to ship this out. The support was not good, and it did not function as expected. If the company had supported me a little bit better, I might have kept it, but I just won't allow it. If the company is not customer first and does not solve my problem immediately, I won't have it. It was another failure just like this. And you can see here, that's not supposed to happen to your 3D prints, but I had a catastrophic failure. They told me they'd ship me a part and it would be about 20 days before I got it. No, thank you. You can take the printer back and I will buy another brand. In fact, there's another large format one from the same company that also didn't work right. So just moving on, there's a couple of unique tools that you don't see very often that you can print with a 3D printer. This is called a gap gauge, where I can take this and figure out what size the gap is underneath something. So if I push that in there, I can see that this gap is about a 3 millimeter gap, 2.5 or 3 millimeters. A cool thing that you don't see at Home Depot, but somebody figured it out, and you can 3D print it. Sticking with some tools here, this is a 3D printer tolerance test print. So printing this gives you an idea of how things fit together if you use 0.1 tolerance up to 0.6 tolerance. Much looser here, much tighter here. So these are things somebody might print if they want to see the real live example of what these profiles might look like before they add them to their design. Now, on the more fun side, I've been printing some Christmas decor. Like my wife said, how about that little tea light holder? So this was on Maker World. I did not create this myself, but you just put a little electronic tea light in there. You put this back on and it glows lights up the trees and stuff. Cute little 3D print that came from Maker World and printed right out on the Bamboo Lab A1 easily. Sticking with the theme, here are some Christmas ornaments. These are small versions of those 3D printer filament. I'm going to hang those on the Christmas tree this year. Printed a little star and some decor. My wife said, how about a little pop of color on the shelf? And I was able to 3D print this. Stop here, we have cookies. Now, 3D prints don't have to stay this simple. They can get really intricate. Like for instance, this was all 3D printed. There's only 3D printed parts here. And I can have threaded parts and tighten down some ball joint parts. This is a little vise that you can hold a small part while you craft with it. This hooks right onto the edge of the table here. Now, getting a little larger, my son said, hey, Dad, my side table gets cluttered and my water bottle's falling and my phone isn't charging. I need something to organize my things. Well, hold my beer, as they say. What I did was design this from scratch. It is his charging caddy for his bedroom. He puts his water bottle here, sunglasses, his phone clicks in here, and I added this. I added it later. I 3D printed it for a recess here, and then I added this MagSafe puck. So when he puts his phone on here at night, it does that clock radio type of mode, the charging mode. Up here, he puts his AirPods. You can just drop them in here and they'll charge because I built that in. And over here, he'll drop his watch and that'll charge. All I did was routed all these wires through down at the bottom, sort of taped them together, put a little rubber feet on there, which you can get those on Amazon. There's my big bag of rubber feet. But every time I do a 3D print, I'll put that on there. And then this now sits on his nightstand. So when he goes to bed, phone goes in, AirPods go in, sunglasses, water bottle, and his iPad goes back here. I'm reprinting it because I wasn't happy with the way this came out. So that's in the works now. And then another thing, just to show you the level of detail that these 3D prints can get to, with the multicolor or the automatic material switcher, which is this thing here, where you can have the 1, 2, 3, 4 colors at the same time. And I saw that question in the chat about, can you have edible filaments? And the answer is nobody's done that yet, but I'm hoping soon they'll do something like that. But you can see here the filaments come in these spools, and the spools just sit until you're ready to use them. And if I were ready to use green, I would simply swap it out for another color. The machine automatically brings the color through the Bowden tube and to the hot end. You can see what's printing there now, starting on some decor for a trip that's coming up. And starting on, using this 3D printer commercially to create some things for my day job. With that multicolor unit over there, you're able to print very intricate 3D prints like this X-Wing fighter model you see here. All those colors were put there by the 3D printer. Nothing was painted. That's just filament, and the 3D printer knows when to change it, and we'll change that filament in there. So lots of detailed stuff there. Another thing I want to show you, and I'll explain this crazy network here, but this is a laser cutter here, and the laser cutter requires venting. So I've got this crazy system of air vents that I've created. That's a fan there. These were 3D printed, so I can open and close these vents. I 3D printed these parts. And then it takes the air, the burning, the burning embers and stuff, brings them through and out the window on the other side. And then this here is a resin printer. This is a little bit different. These are known as FDM printers over here. These are FDM printers over here. Over here is a resin printer, and the resin printer behaves much differently. There's a pool of goo down there at the bottom on a resin printer. Inside there is a pool of resin. You can see that pool of resin in there. And what happens when you send something to a resin printer is the photoelectric plate pulls it up out of the pool of resin and hardens by each layer. So you're capable of much more detailed 3D prints with a resin printer because of the nature of its ability to make those layer lines tiny. You can see there's tons of detail even inside there. There's a staircase on the inside, very intricate detail that you're capable of, but only with these resin printers. The resin comes from these bottles here. You pour it inside, you program it to print the thing you want. It prints it out like this. And then you put it in this alcohol wash machine. Once I put it in the basket inside the alcohol wash machine, it splashes it all with alcohol to get all of the resin off. And then it hits it with a UV ray to harden it. Well, makes it very brittle, but yes, this is my little tester. And yeah, to harden it. These are great for painting small miniatures and stuff, but as you can see, they're not great for parts that will require, any kind of torque or any kind of work like that. Filament can become an addiction. This is a fraction of the filament that I've got here. It's just, I don't know, something about multicolored things. I want to collect all the colors. So yeah, filament can become an addiction. I'm going to head back through here, through the workshop. And there's the arcade. 11-year-old me would be proud of that arcade. And here we come back over here. There were a few more things that I thought were good practical examples. Let me do a time check here. Oh, good, we got time. I'm going to switch back to my other thing here. Okay.
Hey, Pete. Hey, on your
Yes.
desk, is that a editing controller I saw?
Okay, I should be able to hear you now.
Oh, I was just asking, was that an editing controller I saw? Film
Yes.
editing? Oh, okay.
Yes. Oh, over here, yes. Yeah, this is the DaVinci Resolve Speed controller for video editing.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, very useful for if you have a lot of edits to make. So that was a quick tour of the workshop, but I wanted to also expand a little bit and show you some more practical uses of the 3D printer. I don't think people see that quite enough, practical usage. I think it's important for people to see how they're being used because you never know if something is going to fit your use case unless you see it really. So I've opened this album here that I've created of different 3D printer projects that I've done. Again, you see that organizer printing on the big printer there, but that organizer took about 3 days to print.
Mm.
And I showed you Isaiah's, the blue and yellow one. This one's mine. This is where I put my glasses and my phone, my water bottle. Over here, I have little compartments for ibuprofen or Tylenol, and they have lids because we have dogs. So the lids latch down magnetically right there, and you're able to open and close them, and the dogs can't get in there. And some spots for my rings and some eye drops and stuff like that. So it was fully customized to my needs because I was able to design it exactly the way I want it. Now, here I have a catastrophic printer failure. This was a failure that had happened, and you can see that the filament has destroyed the machine. It somehow got clogged in there and completely destroyed the hardware. These very strange strands were coming out, and I woke up to this one morning. So that's the company that proved to me that they are not a customer first organization. And I am sending their printer back to them. My wife asked for an organizer too. She didn't want a big, large Starship like mine. She wanted something smaller and a little bit less intrusive. And so hers is just a small one with her phone up right there. I needed a place on my desk to keep my phone. And so I just built this little organizer because it was perfect to drop my phone in there. I've got my Apple Pencil and my pen, some other small things there. But to be able to make your own custom solutions for stuff, as you can see, it's really not that difficult with a little bit of practice. Another thing my wife told me was we need a place for all these Chick-fil-A sauces. So I 3D printed this big thing and then put some vinyl decals on the side So now when it's time to break out the Chick-fil-A sauces, we have this little Starship dispenser to grab and bring to the table. It's better than saving all those little packets. She said they were sliding around the drawer too much and it started to drive her crazy. So I vinyl cut some decals to go on it, and with that combination, you have a nicely polished finished product with a 3D printer. Just moving on to some other things. I have 4 walkie-talkies. They used to sit on the desk like this. I didn't like the way that worked, so I printed a cradle for them so they could all just be together in that cradle. Now, I don't think I took a picture of the after on that one. So, remote controls. My wife was tired of them falling off the side table. So I was able to 3D print this caddy that fits each one of our remotes perfectly, and a place for me to put my glasses. Now you have all this side table space, and all the remotes stay exactly where they belong because those slots are 3D printed perfect for them. I like to decorate cookies. I needed a place for my food coloring and some little cups here, some toothpicks, and brushes and things for decorating cookies. If I did not 3D print this thing, then they would just be sitting on the countertop in a pile. But a 3D printer was the perfect solution to get those things exactly where I wanted them to be. So yeah, there it is, finishing up on the 3D printer there. Just going through the spice cabinet in my kitchen is, it looks like this. The only reason it looks like this is because I was able to print custom 3D printed little brackets for the shelving, custom for my kitchen width and height. So I'm now able to have all of the spices clearly labeled and all of my cooking liquids clearly labeled in there. It is life-changing, folks, when you can make a solution that fits your needs perfectly with a 3D printer. It's like, wow, that was worth the price of learning how to do that just right there. This was another desk organizer I had created for my own purposes with little Pac-Man logos on there. Let's see, continuing on. I wanted to learn making El Pastor. I was like, stacking chicken thighs and pineapple together. I needed something to do that with. So I 3D printed this thing with different sections in it, where you put the chicken in there, you stack it up, and you put it in the fridge overnight. And it cools the chicken, and it kind of coagulates into this log, and then you're able to make that pastor on a spit. 3D printing allowed me to do that by making a custom shaped buildable thing here with relative ease. So just going through, my wife said, hey, can you make something for the cat food? The cat food sliding all over the pantry. Sure, here's a dispenser. You pull it out from the bottom. Just going through, one more thing about these. You can take them out for easy cleaning. You can pull each section out, and you can see here's how they were printed. So just going through a couple more examples. I paint quite often. Here's a little caddy with popsicle sticks, mixing brushes, all little things. And that's a tomato can in the middle. So I figured, you know what? I'll print this caddy to go around the tomato can and hold all my supplies for painting and stuff. Here was an interesting project where I poured epoxy resin on the surface of my 3D print. My son likes to play 10,000 or Farkle. And so we made him this little board here where when I poured in the resin, it was crystal clear and a nice hard surface for those dice to bounce around on. So as you can see, just going around the house and figuring out what needs a solution and creating it. Another thing here is this was a resin print. I showed you the resin printer there where it comes up out of the pile of goo. My daughter then painted it. She took paint brushes, painted that resin print, and we got just a lovely little figurine, miniature figurine there, hand painted out of the 3D printer. I like to make my own granola bars, and I needed a way to compress them into these logs like you see here. And 3D printing was the perfect medium for that. I was able to create a press that gives me really high pressure by using this turn screw that I created. And it pressurizes those granola bars overnight. So when I slice them, they're nice and firm with all the ingredients in there. So I just really wanted to walk through this. Oh, there's my daughter painting that figurine in the laboratory there. Just wanted to walk through and show you that 3D printing is not limited to any one thing. It is anything you want it to be. One of the things that helped me fall in love with 3D printing was I attended a corporate event and they had a bunch of 3D printed parts for prosthetic hands. And at the corporate event, every table had to assemble a few pairs of these prosthetic hands. And I would just turn it over in my hand over and over again, fascinated that somebody was able to design and print this where decades or centuries of manufacturers were not. But individuals like you and I were able to sit down in their offices at their computer and figure out how to come up with stuff like this for everybody, not just those who can afford it, not just those who are fitted for it, but anybody who needs this type of mobility assistance can now 3D print this type of thing themselves. So I'm going to take a breath there because I really wanted to make sure I took you from the beginning to the end, whether you have a 3D printer or not, whether it's something you're mildly interested or quite interested in, and whether you're the type of person who would buy one and print everybody else's files or buy one and create your own solutions. You saw the lab there with several 3D printers running, huge format 3D printer, small format 3D printer. I just ordered another one. I got to figure out where to stuff it in there. But this one has an enclosure where I have to open a cabinet to get inside of it. The enclosure is good because it regulates the heat inside. And so Georgia winters are really cold. That can cause a temperature differential with a hot plate in a cold environment. You get more failures. But the one that's coming is enclosed, and I'll be able to lock it and set the temperature inside to have perfect prints every time. Happy to show you the results of that one when I get it, but I won't be here for a couple more days. Excited to set it up and ship that big one back. That company missed, and I won't have it. They're not going to keep my money.
Couple questions in the chat there, one from Sally and then one from Ken.
Aha, yes, I see Ken's there. It's the first one on my screen. Yeah, the filament can range from $30 to getting it on sale for $15. The filament is 1,000 grams, so a kilogram, right? The filament spool is a kilogram. And I'm finding that the Overture brand on Amazon is kind of my sweet spot. I've been using the Overture brand, and I get that for about $12 to $17 per kilogram. These 3D models are very light, and the slicer software will tell you how much it'll cost you to print that thing. So I'll show you an example of that. If I share here, I think this is a great feature. Here I am in the slicer, right? The slicer is the program that takes your model and translates it into 3D printer language.
Design, yeah.
And over here in this box, you can see that this particular print is going to take 5 hours and 5 minutes. And the filament cost for that 3D print will be $2.55. Now, one of the reasons that filament cost is so high, I mean, if this was only one color, it would be 30 cents. But remember that bin of waste I showed you? Every time a color change occurs, it has to purge the old color, and that's where all those little doodles come from. So it has to purge the old color, send out a bunch of it, and then knock it off into the little bucket and then get the new color in there. Things that have a lot of color changes use up a lot of filament. And so optimizing your print to not have so many color changes is a good thing. It's why I haven't printed that yet, because I really want to get the number of color changes way down to save filament. So yes, okay. So that's Ken's question. And then how would one recycle?
Salad. Oh, yeah.
Yep. Sally, there is a smell from the plastic, but it is very faint. I have to walk over to the 3D printer, put my nose very close to the hot end to smell it. Now, it could be that it doesn't have much of a smell to it, but I do notice a little bit.
Is it toxic smell?
They've said that the polylactic acid, which is mostly made of cornstarch, the filament is made up largely of cornstarch and some other things, but no, they've said the fumes for that are not toxic. Unless you expose yourself an inordinate amount. But my lab is over there and I walk through that room quite a few times a day. I rarely ever notice any smell. A laser cutter generates a lot of pollution and smell. I hardly ever use that. But the other thing too is how to recycle that filament heats up at a very low temperature. So you could either recycle it back into something. There's a person on YouTube who takes old filament and puts it in molds and makes planters and stuff with it. I think that's a great idea. They put it in silicone molds. You can recycle it. It's just, yeah. The goal is not to have that much waste, but yeah, there are times when, like, if I make myself a new phone organizer, I'll throw the old one away and I'll just throw it right in the recycling bin. It's polylactic acid or PLA.
Ken's got his hand up too.
Oh, yes, sir. Hello, Ken. Where in
Kenny?
the world is Ken?
I'm
Uh,
in Manila right now.
Are you really? Amazing.
Yeah. So, and I'll be home in 3 days after. That'll be after 4 months of travel. So
Oh my
All
gosh.
right.
anyway, a great presentation, Pete. Couple of questions. So the bamboo printer does not have proprietary filaments like they used to have, right? I mean, other printers used to have.
Yeah, so it seems like every 3D printer manufacturer does have their own line of filament, and they want you to buy that one, obviously. They'll try to trick you into telling you that, oh, it works better and it's got an RFID chip in there to tell the printer which color it is. But in my travels, I have found that discount PLA for 12 bucks from Amazon works just as good as any that claims to be more than that. The filament diameter is 1.75 millimeters, and as long as you buy filament that's 1.75 millimeters and 1 kilogram spools, I have not found a brand that's failed really yet. If you let it get really old, like I have some spools that are 6 years old, those become problematic because they'll clog up the printer because they've just been dehydrated for too long. They don't have the moisture in there that allows them to heat. So, yeah.
Well, it's so good. It's not like the inkjet printer model. Then
No.
har smiley face.
As a matter of fact,
Um,
if you have a micro center near you, they are growing their 3D printer section like crazy. Their whole back wall is now filament, and it's their brand. It's Micro Center brand filament. So I think they're in
Great.
it to try to get that margin and sell people filament. Yep.
So the other thing is now you had said the color changes, and like for instance in that one you're doing, so you have essentially two color changes for three colors every level, right?
Every level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it's not
so
like you can build it in black and then fill in the white behind, right?
no, exactly. Yeah. And that's where all the color changes come in because you see every time it has to change color. Like if you take this 3D print here, when it goes to
Yeah.
black, and it has to purge the red so it can do the black. And then this is just a little tray. Another one that I poured epoxy resin on, so I keep keys and stuff in here. It's got the little feet on the bottom. But yeah, every time it changes color. So if you have like a set of earrings, or look, I 3D printed this. It's the little Iron Maiden card here. But every time it changed, it had to lay down the black, had to change, then lay down the white, change, lay down the red, then go to level 2 and do the same thing. Lay down the black, change, lay down the white, change, lay down the red.
And
So
that's a
yeah,
huge time suck also, right?
it's a time. So yeah, little inlays. This is some kind of supersonic whistle that I printed for a coach, one of my kids' coaches. It's super
Cool.
loud. They were very impressed. But yeah, you see it's got the inlay in there. And for that cosmetic bit, it does have a bunch of filament changes that waste filament. Yeah,
My
good to
last
know.
question is about the maker World or whatever it is where the pre-done templates are. Are those free? Are they pay? What I mean, how does that market work?
Yeah, those markets like Maker World, or there's one called Thingiverse that isn't connected to any 3D
Yeah, I've
printer
affiliated.
company.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, Thingiverse has a bunch of 3D models on there, and every 3D model starts out as an or every 3D model that you're going to print starts out as an STL or a step file. Those are the file types, almost like JPEG or PNG. STL and step files are the files. So when you download something from, say, Thingiverse or MakerWorld, which is free, or Prusa Printables, 3D Printables is another great ecosystem from the Prusa company. If you download any of those step files, you can then just use them on any 3D printer you want. When the creator uploads it, they kind of agree to that. They say, hey, people are going to download and own this file now. Are you okay with that? And they say yes. Some of the creators say, I would like attribution. If you sell this on Etsy or something like that, please let people know where you got the file.
Oh,
It is the
good.
Wild West, though, still. There's still a lot of copyright infringement. Like you saw the Star Wars ship. that can't be good. You know,
Uh-oh.
you're printing Star Wars IP. I'm sure that's not.
And
It's
I
the
saw
Wild West.
the Peanuts Beagle.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so two things, and the first one is, are you using or are there decent scanners there to help with your making a part for something?
You know, I have this down the block neighbor, and he says to me, "I'm going to get a 3D scanner." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, because there's a clip on my blinds that broke, and I'm going to scan that clip and then recreate it." It was quite a coincidence because that same clip on my blinds broke. I guess these houses were
Yeah,
all built the same time.
I
They all have
have
the
those
same blind.
on my plantation shutters too.
Yeah. And I said, you are going to have a heck of a time trying to 3D scan that because 3D scanning is still very bad unless you get a commercial 3D scanner. They're a lot of money. But what happens is you scan the thing and it's using LiDAR and depth sensor and this type of stuff. But after it's done being scanned, there's hours worth of cleanup to do to get any
Right.
precision out of a 3D
Right.
scanner. So what I told him was use a 2D scanner. If you just take that clip and put it on your HP printer scan bed or whatever, and it scans it, then bring it into CAD and just trace around that 2D
Oh
scan
yeah.
and then extrude it. So we did that, and now we all have new clips. The whole neighborhood has new clips because we printed off a bunch of them and handed them out. So yeah, the 3D scanners aren't there yet. I refuse to buy one at this point because they're just, the hope is there. You get one and you think, oh, this is going to be great. I can 3D scan an old part from something and print it. Forget about it. We're nowhere near being able to do that. You need the engineering chops to be able to take that part and get it into tolerance after it's been 3D scanned. And it's just difficult to do that.
So I know the last thing here is just a comment. Great presentation, by the way, and
Thank you.
as always. But I think you're really getting to work your way up so you can 3D print your poker table.
Okay, that is a good idea, or at least my own chips or some way to.
Yeah, there you go.
So I always win.
A quickie.
Carol, I have a question for you. What's going on back there, Carol? I see a bunch of colors, and whenever I see all a rainbow of colors like that, I get curious. Is that embroidery thread or something like
Right.
that?
Yeah.
It is. Okay. All right. I like it. I like how you have it displayed there. I like to see all the colors out, as you saw from my lab over there.
Sally wanted you to answer her third and fourth question there in her.
I guess it's not it's like I've heard some libraries now have 3D printers.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's one way to get around getting one that you've had problems with. Or
out
Yeah.
in Rockland, there's it's part of the Sierra College, and there's a
Right.
maker place set up
Makerspace,
where you can go in and do it. But again, it's kind of like, yeah, you can go print it, but you got to make sure you know what you're going to print.
oh, I see.
Yeah, and how to troubleshoot it, or if there's nobody there to help you. Our libraries have CNC machines. They have lots of things that you can borrow, but you pretty much have to already
know
know
what
how to
you
use
know.
them. There's
Oh.
really no guidance. And the other thing I'll say though is there's companies like PCBWay. Al, I don't know if you want to put that in the chat, but PCBWay will 3D print whatever you want. So if you have a file that you want 3D printed, but you don't have a 3D printer, you can send it to them. They'll print it for you and then ship it to you. And then they'll print it to whatever tolerances you want. They'll also print circuit boards. If you're into that type of thing, you can make your own custom circuit board to fit inside of a 3D printed part. So yeah,
It's not like
Well, I
print-
was just in a class at Sac City College, and I just happened upon they have a maker's space, which included, of course, 3D printing and all types of things, and they also had guides or officials whom would help
Marshals.
you to learn the
Yeah.
well, whatever the term would be. But anyway,
okay, so there is help, but you have to know where to get it.
I would say there can be, but I'm not an official on that. That would be a Pete question.
Well, I found that the community is very helpful. You know, you can consider me your community. I'm happy to help you if you have questions that lead to you getting something 3D printed or questions that lead to you getting a 3D printer. Feel fearless if you're tempted to get a 3D printer because you've got a buddy, you got somebody who can help you out if you get stuck. And there's more than just me at MacNexus. There's others. I'll let them, you know, as Ray already put in the chat, Ray is an experienced 3D printer and he's here tonight. So I'm sure there's plenty of community around you where you could get help if you needed it, but it's not the obscure hobby that it used to be. It's not the difficult, you know, where you have to be a mechanic and a driver. It's now quite democratized where pretty much everybody can get a 3D printer, look up a file online, hit print, and out it comes. So yeah, if you do have any questions, feel free to email me, petelozzi@gmail.com, and I'll happily answer your email. I have a couple from you, Randy. Sorry, I have not got back to you yet. There's a couple
Randy.
from the last class we had. I've got a few stacked up, but I do tend to get back to you within just a day or two in most cases. So yeah, happy to help there if you need it. And I'm happy we got to do this tonight. I think everybody should know about 3D printing and how easy it's become, and that you have a buddy here if you need help or have any questions. I'm happy to help. And then while I'm working and while I'm on conference calls, I have this 3D
sir.
printed fidget. It has all kinds of different gears and buttons and things like that. So it helps my fidgetiness to have a little 3D printed fidget here. So yeah, lots of 3D printed things in my house. I could take you on a tour and show you. Pretty much every room has 3 or 4 3D printed solutions to it. Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll let you get to the door prize thing. I had a great time tonight. Thank you for having me. Looking forward to the next one, which I think is first Saturday coming soon. I don't know, check your email. Bob's good at sending those blasts out. Looking forward to seeing you next time. And again, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Great presentation, Pete.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks, everybody.
Pete. Great go.
Thanks,
Woo-hoo.
Pete.
Thank you.
My brain is exploding.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. That's a great studio, man. I'm envious.
And it's amazing the prices have gotten down to what they are
Yeah.
now. You know, they used to be
Right.
$900.
Yeah.
And,
Didn't we
and
love?
especially ones that work really well, because then, you know, and they were so bad that you'd waste so much on consumables.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. I'm thinking just like you, Al. I'm thinking, okay,
Oh,
it used to be
man.
it used to be a solution in search of a problem, but I may have it may have jumped
Let's go
over
find
the
a
shark
problem.
now. Yeah,
Al, you
exactly.
don't
Let's
have enough
invent-
room in your room for.
I know. I
Or
Yeah,
know.
let's invent one.
God.
All righty. Well, that was a great presentation.
Yeah.
And I believe we're on to the item of the day. And Lisa, could you remind me, there are 3 we do, correct? Is that correct?
We're going to be doing 4 $25 cards.
Okay.
And because it's the end of the year, the December
Oh.
Christmas, we're going to do 2 $100 cards.
Okay.
Woo-hoo.
These are all for just attendees.
Okay.
In that note, I've got an entry as Karen's iPad. If I can get a last name, I can get you into the door prize.
Okay. Karen's iPad.
Come on, speak up.
Unmute yourself and tell us.
Unmute and give me a name. Because at this point, I can't.
Because we have more than
There,
one Karen.
there we go.
We
I'm
do.
sorry, I couldn't find my button. This is Karen Papa.
Hi, Karen.
I
Thank you so
apologize.
much.
It took me so
Yeah.
long, I'm not used to where it is. So
can-
thank you.
Check you off here, and I can sort this. And maybe I'll be ready to go in a minute.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, Thomas.
Oh, you want
A
me to
little
go
hiccup
ahead
and-
then? Let's see. She seemed to be cooperating. I hope
Yep,
that.
we got it. We
Oh no,
got
I was
it.
talking on my end.
Oh.
Okay.
You're temperamental.
We'll start off with the 425s. Am I not correct? That's our usual procedure.
That's how we do it, but give me a minute. I
Oh,
got
I
But
thought you were
you
giving me
have
the
to know
go
the
ahead.
number.
I was
I
trying
have to
be,
sort.
I was
I had
trying
to
to be
add
excellent.
Karen.
No worries.
Don't want to leave anybody out.
I could sing you a lullaby, but then you probably would be all asleep and oh, that might be good for me to win all the prizes. Everyone's asleep and
Must be awake to win.
Okay, let's see if this sort works.
Yeah.
Oh, please, oh, please, oh, please.
Oh no. Yes, another day.
Okay, we have an
There we
officially
go.
sorted list. So yes, we'll
right.
start with the 25s.
And what's my number?
27.
20. Oh, the 27 here. Gotcha. Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 27. And Siri said 22. My volume's down.
22 is Randy Hare.
Oh, woohoo. Oops. Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 27. 6.
6.
I
And
thought
that's Carol
I thought
Becker.
I turned it up. Oh, I got my earphones in.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
That's it.
Okay, Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 27.
Random number between 1 and 27.
Siri, hello. Oh, you're back. Give me a random number between 1 and 27. 27 would be the number. I don't know why my volume's not working.
Well, congratulations, Thomas.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. I lost you, Lisa. I don't know
Well,
why
and just
that's
so everybody
this is-
knows, Lisa has the numbers and Thomas doesn't know what the numbers are. So there's no way he could have fudged that. So just so everybody knows.
Oh, what was, I didn't,
It was you, 27.
oh
You,
no,
27.
oh my God. Yeah, that's one of my earphones wasn't working. So, okay. And, oh, Bob.
But Siri was working because it listened and gave me a number.
Well, that's the thing. So hey Thomas,
Yes.
Thomas, so that everybody's Siri doesn't go off, if you press and hold the button on the right side of the phone, that will activate Siri. So don't and say the word Siri. Just go ahead and say, give me a random number
Gotcha.
between that.
Gotcha. Give me a random number between 1 and 27. That would be 20.
And number 20, oh my, it's me.
Oh, I think
Board of
the fix
directors
really
doing
is in.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
hey,
Big
nice
day
sort,
for
Lisa.
us.
BOD.
Yeah, well, yeah.
No, if it was rigged, they'd get the hundreds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Careful.
Lisa's a
kid,
better
we're not
accountant than
done
that.
yet. All right, very well. Now we're going to go on to the 100. Am I not correct?
Correct.
Give me a random number between 1 and 27. 14.
14 is Jennifer Carr.
Yay, Jennifer!
Congratulations.
And the last one and final 100 one, here we are. Give me a random number between 1 and 27. 16.
That's a nice array of numbers we got tonight.
Yeah, it worked out.
And well, congratulations, Karen Papa.
Uh-oh, she's got to
Oh, aren't you
yeah.
glad you got your name in?
Good job.
All right.
Right.
Merry
Thank
Christmas,
you.
everyone.
Yeah. Safe travels, Ken. We'll see you in 3 days.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Then I can finally go pick up my new iPhone 17 Pro Max. It's been like, oh, I
Oh,
need
the
it.
pain.
I know.
All right. I'm
All
glad
right. And then I can go to iOS 26 too, because I've kept everything off of it because
Yeah.
when you're traveling, you don't want to update.
You don't want to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want stable matrix.
Great. Well,
Yeah.
good to see you. I'll look forward to the links. Great presentation by Pete. And actually I came in a little late during your your heads up on the tech stuff, but as always, you do such a good job with that. And your format is really cool now on your template for your keynote too. It looks fantastic, Al.
Come
It's
a ways.
a
Come a ways.
real asset.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Cool. All right, everybody. Hey,
All
Merry
right, gang.
Christmas, and I'm
All
gonna
right.
take off.
Good
Talk
night.
to you later.
Merry
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Out of here to get the gift cards out.
All righty.
All righty. Thank you.
See everyone at
Thanks,
the All Things
everyone.
Apple. All
Merry
Things Apple.
Christmas.
Oh, is that this weekend, Al?
Next weekend. This weekend. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Is it
That's
this weekend? What day is
Whips,
this?
right? Oh, that's Bob. Okay, okay.
That's Karen's.
It's
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bye
It's on
all.
Saturday.
Do I have to show up? Am I supposed to do anything? I don't do all things.
No,
Apple.
Karen does that. I think she.
Karen, okay,
yeah, yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm.
Yeah. I'm with you,
All
brother.
right.
It's all good.
All right. Have a good evening. Thank you so very much.
Take care,
Happy
gang.
holidays,
Talk-
everyone.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Happy
You as well, Bob.
holidays.
Later, Randy.
Cheers. And Jane, she make sure she knows we're leaving. We're leaving. Done. Oh, you done?